when they say that there are certain industries that are recession-proof, we've proven that we're recession-proof. We've more than proven that we're recession-proof, but
through
we've
two crises that, like, market. 2008 was a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
Pandemic, never.
Big.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't think we have a precedence for that. And both, we continue to grow
Exponentially. And that was my second point. So we can live through the turn down in the real estate, the market dynamics. Even if the stock market melts down, we're still good.
Yeah.
But also, you put on top of that a pandemic. It's like, okay, show me something that's better.
All right, welcome to another episode of We Are Amada, and I got a great treat for everybody today. The founder of Amada Senior Care, Mr. Tafa Jefferson, is here in the studio with us.
I'm happy to be here, Marcos. This is awesome.
If I do that intro, I mean, we see each other every day, right? It's not like it's something special, but it is something special to have Tafa Jefferson here. It's probably been 5-6 years since we've done something like this. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have you back in the studio to talk to everybody. Folks are looking at Amada Senior Care. Folks are in Amada Senior Care. Anybody who is in the universe thinking about us. And long time ago, we did a podcast episode where you talked about how you founded Amada Senior Care. Mm-hmm. I thought it'd be kind of cool for you to tell that story again. It's the founding of Amada Senior Care. You'd put it at what date?
It was in 97, late 97. I would say September, October of 97.
It's 30 years.
Yeah, we're coming up on 30 years.
That is crazy.
You know what's amazing is it feels like it was just yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. I can't believe 30 years has flashed by. But, a lot of great things have happened. Mm-hmm. We've had a lot of challenges, and I look at the challenges and appreciate that just as much as the wins, right? And so that's just life. That's the embodiment of being an entrepreneur. You got to take the good with the bad, but you got to make sure the bad counts too, because if you don't learn lessons from all your mistakes, you're never going to get better.
I learned that Jared Turner, that works here with us, he always says, never waste a great crisis.
That's right.
He's like, when something happens like that, the worst thing is not to learn from that experience, right?
Yeah. That's right. But yeah, hey, first off, I got to give you and your team props. This is a great podcast room.
That's pretty cool, huh?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the colors. I love everything. The sound deadening. You guys thought of everything. So kudos to you guys. Kudos
to Richard and Fulia behind the camera.
Richard a shout out. Yeah, Richard.
I think it looks good, huh?
And that mustache.
I think it came out really well.
Yeah, great. And you know what? Here's the thing: it's just another indication of we're on the right path. So I remember doing it on a iPhone years ago.
Yeah,
we've leveled up, several years ago, and now we're leveling up again. So it's just it's cool to see the companies continuing to grow.
So okay, lead us off. How did you start this thing?
Well, I would like to take credit for starting the business, but I didn't. Truly, I didn't. It was my mom who really helped me to see like the opportunity, and it's interesting because it was a part of how I grew up. I mean, I was, my mom went to work each and every day, and she just loved to work. I mean, for her, it was a ministry. In fact, 4 or 5 years ago, we had to force her into retirement because she just loved taking care of seniors. I think it was a part of the companionship. It was a part of serving other people. She grew up in the islands in American Samoa, mm-hmm. and it was just the way her family was raised. She was one of 11, and so, for her, having a big family and siblings, you always cared for your family, your immediate family. What was her order? She was the second to the last.
Second to last?
Yeah.
No way.
She had a younger brother whose name was Tafa also.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, she's second to the last, and growing up in a large family, it was kind of like she was raised on a farm on the island, right? Mm-hmm. So you get up, do your housework as chores, you got to tend to the house, and then get off to school and whatnot. But in the islands, a major part of your responsibility is taking care of the family. And as her parents aged, it's just a part of the culture. There's a reverence for taking care of seniors. So, she wanted to grow up and be a nurse. She went and studied she was transitioning from high school to a junior college, but she knew she wanted to be a nurse, and so she decided to get into nursing school and flew out to California to start that nursing school program. And she had to drop out of nursing school.
Wow, why?
She was pregnant with me.
No way.
Yeah.
So she gets out of nursing school.
Yeah. She couldn't continue because if you're pregnant, they don't allow you to continue the program.
But you're not. Are you the oldest?
No, I'm the third.
You're the third. Yeah.
Yeah. So parents got married early, and life got in the way, and she wanted to finish the nursing program, and she dropped out. And it's because of this guy, right?
Because of this guy.
So you fast forward, and you really think about the impact that my mom has had on me, and when I finished business school, she just casually said, "Honey, you got to start a business. You're the first kid that went to school, right? You graduated with a business degree. Why don't you put it to work?" And she's like, "If I were you and I could do it all over again, I'd start a home care company."
Yeah.
And that's all it took, right? So here we are 30 years later, still doing it. But it was great. I remember vividly having that conversation with her because I was playing football, as you know, and I was cut from the team, and I was at home making a sandwich, and she was on her lunch break, and just to have, what it's like to have, you'll experience this when you have your kids home from school. It's kind of like a novelty. Your parents come, like we're doing the same thing with our kids now. Our kids are in college, and so our son comes home, and it's like, we all descend in the kitchen to, okay, what's going on with school? How's everything going? But, when your kids graduate from college, and it's just a sweet time because they're trying to figure out their lives. Yeah. They're ready to fly the nest, right? So for us, at that time, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do because I knew that I was closing the chapter with professional sports on my end, and I told her, I said, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing something in healthcare," and my goal was to be a hospital administrator.
That was the goal.
Yeah, because and the only reason I was going down that path is because my aunt, she was a nurse, so I had a lot of nurses, around me growing up, and so she was she worked in the purchasing department for a hospital in Alaska. Well, she worked in Los Angeles, but then she transitioned to Alaska, and she did really well financially. She was doing really well. And I would talk to her, "Auntie, like, what do you do?" She's like, I buy equipment and medical equipment for the hospital, but I report to the administration. I'm like, "Well, who's the boss, right?" Yeah. Oh, he's called a hospital administrator.
Right? Naturally.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
I want that job. So I had this like weird, gravitation towards healthcare. But it wasn't until I looked back and I reflected, like even 5 years into the business, what I was really doing. And essentially what I was doing is I was hiring caregivers to take care of seniors. And there was this kind of this thread where it made me feel good because I felt like I was employing caregivers that were just like my mom, just trying to find an opportunity for work and doing what they loved. And it wasn't about the money because, as we all know, caregivers, they're not like six-figure income earners, right? They're hard workers, and they're doing great work. So it was all about the work, and the more caregivers I met over time and the more opportunities that we could provide for their families, the more I just enjoyed it.
Well, and here's what I think a lot of people don't know. I think even our franchise partners don't know this. And you tell me the order, and this is kind of like folklore now, but your mom talks about becoming or starting a caregiving company. Didn't you go and get your CNA?
Yeah, that was one of the first things I did because
you became a caregiver.
Yeah, because I didn't know. I mean, I knew practically what she did, and when I was younger, growing up, she would take me to her clients' homes, and I'd empty the trash, I'd mow the lawn, I'd do chores around the house, and we had one client, and she was like my extended grandmother. Her name was Emma Simpson. Diehard USC fans. She worked for the telecommunication company AT&T, and her husband, he had a sales position somewhere, and I remember her next of kin was one of the deans at University of Davis, and he would come down on occasion and visit with us. But I got to know Emma. I just grew up with her for, 20 plus years, and she was just a part of our family. She'd come over for the holidays and whatnot, but I knew what my mom did, but it was the immeasurable. I needed to figure out what was the blocking and the tackling behind the scenes that I wasn't privy to, because when you talk about providing personal care for a senior, I mean, that's serious. You have to have some training and you got to be trained, on how proper body mechanics if they're bedridden. There's all types of elements of delivering care, which are, it was a blind spot for me, right? So immediately I went and I did the CNA program and I did the home health aid program, and I made up my mind I would never want to ask someone to do a job that I wasn't willing to do myself.
Yeah.
And so that's what I went and did. And it, what it did is I didn't realize how much it would help me in my personal development as being a small business owner. But man, it gave me instant credibility, because once all the students found out that I had the company, they're like, "Hey, Tafa, can I apply for work with you?" They knew me, and I'm like, "Absolutely."
So a lot of your first caregivers were probably the folks that were graduating with you.
Yeah, they were. Some of my they were some of my colleagues.
Yeah.
But I already had a roster of caregivers and nurses, because I ran a registry, which was different from what we are today.
Right.
And speaking about some of the challenges, I had to close that registry down because it was not a sustainable business model. So we learned the business essentially crashed and burned, right?
Yeah.
Only because I didn't have the right guidance, right? I was young. I was starting a business on my own. I ran it for 10 years, and I was wildly successful, but I made a few key mistakes, and I paid for it. It was costly, but it was the biggest blessing ever, because I knew from that point forward what it felt like to lose a company. Mm-hmm. I knew what it felt like to jeopardize, my family's well-being. And so that's why I'm very serious about the business. This is not a game. We understand that when franchise partners invest in our company, there's a lot at stake, right? They're leaving. In most cases, they're leaving their jobs.
Yeah, it's a big.
They're making a huge financial commitment.
Yeah.
So again, to rewind and address your initial question, I immediately went and I decided, hey, I'm going to be a caregiver. If I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to do it right, that's the best thing to do. And it was one of the best decisions I ever made. Instant credibility. My roster took off. And for years to come, because I formed a relationship with the teachers of the school, they all said, hey, we're going to give it to our student here. And so I cornered the market on all the great caregivers. And so for years we recruited caregivers. Even to this day, we still get caregivers from that school. So it's great.
Okay, so this is an interesting point to pick up on. You mentioned the registry. That goes away. Different model from Amada Senior Care. Around 2007, 2008, you launch Amada.
Yeah, so from 97 is when I started the business, and I ran that for 10 years. And then 2007 is when I said, hey, Chad, let's kind of take a stab at this. I've put my hand on the stove. It got burned. I know what not to do. And I'm like, I think that if we kind of pull our resources together, you bring, all your learnings from corporate America, and we put it together, I think we can create something pretty unique here.
So we have a lot of folks, our franchise partners and also folks who look at Amada, where they say, why only caregiving? Why only caregiving? So many times people come to you and go, hey, Tafa, we could do dialysis. Yeah. We could do all these other home health things. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of your learning. Can you kind of explain why have you been so determined to stay with a caregiving company, meaning providing care for the seniors in their homes with non-medical caregivers? Why that lane? Why not go into dialysis or other home health or medical things. Why not?
Well, it's pretty simple. You stick with what works, right? You got to stick with what works, and you got to understand the trends in the market. Most people don't realize that if you go into the hospital, over 95% of the discharges that come out of a hospital require some form of ADL, activities of daily living.
Mm-hmm. Dressing, bathing,
dressing, grooming.
What we do.
95%.
That's
huge.
Huge. Yeah.
So it's pretty much you're guaranteed that they are going to need a caregiver. So, once you understand like who pays for care, where is care going to be delivered, who delivers the care, how is care reimbursed, once you figure out those big pieces and you kind of break it down and you get into the minutia, if you will, like there's a huge opportunity, and it's continuing to the market is expanding daily.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
every day it never goes down.
Oh my gosh.
There's no downward trend this year or next year, and it just
every year the opportunity gets bigger and bigger, and now it's getting to the point where we can't even put our arms around it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that remarkable, right? I haven't seen another market or another industry that is expanding like this. I mean, you think about it. Take real estate, for example, right? Real estate, you have your ups and your downs. Mm-hmm. 2008, the world fell apart, right?
Yeah.
The world fell apart, right? With real estate, it's some ups and downs. My business, we kicked ass.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
Yeah, from 2008, when everybody was just losing their shorts, mortgage fraud, and all those issues.
We leaned into it. We were growing.
You didn't even feel it, right?
It was like
there wasn't a recession.
We didn't skip one beat, Marcos. Yeah. We didn't skip a beat.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. COVID.
Same thing.
Like, now that's not to say that we didn't pull back a little bit. We pulled back for like a month or two because everybody around the industry, even healthcare professionals,
we had
didn't
rooms
understand.
Full of masks. Yeah. It was crazy, man.
We didn't understand. We never lived through a pandemic.
Yeah.
So even the healthcare professionals were like, what is this? Mm-hmm. How do we put our arms around it? I guess we need to isolate, right? And they were locking down hospitals. Families couldn't get to their loved ones. Seniors, unfortunately, were passing away in the hospitals and skilled nursing. It just level set everything. Mm-hmm. But if you think about it, at the federal level, they were saying, hey, you need to go home, age in place.
That's right.
At the state level, they were saying, go home, age in place. Mm-hmm. At the county level, they're saying, stay home, right? Yeah. That played right into our business model. Yeah. So, when they say that there are certain industries that are recession-proof, we've proven that we're recession-proof. We've more than proven that we're recession-proof, but
through
we've
two crises that, like, market. 2008 was a huge thing. Mm-hmm. Pandemic, never. Big. I mean, yeah. I don't think we have a precedence for that. And both we continue to grow.
Exponentially. And that was my second point. So we can live through the turn down in the real estate, the market dynamics. Yeah. Even if the stock market melts down, we're still good.
Yeah.
But also, you put on top of that a pandemic, it's like, okay, show me something that's better.
Yeah.
Show me something. Yeah. Show me an industry that's better. It's not like fast casual or restaurants or
fitness.
Fitness got kicked in the teeth. I mean, fitness brands really got hurt, but now, thankfully, they're starting to rebound. Yeah, they're doing really well.
Yeah.
But for the most part, every industry across the board got hit hard, except for healthcare. Right. In fact, what it did was it shed a light on the importance of healthcare, and what it did is it exposed how vulnerable our infrastructure was with regards to how we care for adults and seniors specifically. Right. Hospitals changed the way they administrate and manage care. The government changed the way with regards to how they reimburse for care. Right, they put in certain protections, for them because there was a lot of fraud that was happening within the marketplace. So, I mean, any way that you look at it, Marcos, I think that we're on safe ground, and we want to continue to plant our flag and lean into it. So, again, like I said, 30 years, I'm still here, taking, and I'm having more fun now than ever because it's a good business. It makes you feel good to work with people that you want to work with, and also you're doing a good deed and a good service in the community. So it's great. I mean, I love it.
So, what makes Amada different from other home care companies?
There's a lot, but there's one thing that we do that's very, very different. I think, one of the things, or the thing that sets our company apart, is not only do we deliver great care. I tell everybody, it's like my sales pitch is, we're Nordstrom of senior care. We're the Nordstrom of senior care. That's it. We are the Nordstrom of senior care. We're not for everyone, but our clientele understands what they get. They have high expectations, and we deliver 10 times out of 10, right? But what really sets our company apart is so many families are trying to figure out a way to pay for care. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where a lot of times the opportunity is missed for most operators. I would say for almost all. You have a lot of home care agencies that are out there that will have no problem with delivering good care. Mm-hmm. They'll deliver good care.
Good
you
companies.
have some that are marginal. You have someone that are, the Walmart of in-home senior care. That's not us. But not only do we want to deliver excellent care 10 times out of 10, it's all about that customer service experience. It's like concierge care. But we want to help families figure out a way to pay for care, right? Mm-hmm. That's the issue that most families are trying to navigate through and deal with. No one's taking the extra time to observe what are the clinical implications of this health care episode of care, right? Mm-hmm. Like, does this client need care? And if so, where's the best place for care? And sometimes it's not in the home.
Right.
And we'll be the first ones to admit it. It's a part of our core values, right? But we will be the first to admit if care is not appropriate in the home for that senior. I think families they appreciate that. They like the fact that we're honest with them. But what really truly sets us apart is we help the families figure out a way to pay for it.
Yeah. And
no one does it like we do. I'm proud to say that we're the tip of the spear in our industry, and I think that's why there's a lot of respect for our brand out there within the healthcare, sectors, because we're going to help find a way to pay for care. Now, does that mean that we can always find a way? No, but we're going to make sure that we can turn over every loose stone for this family member to ensure that they get good quality care. Right?
We hear a lot from folks that are looking at Amada, where I'll ask, how much do you think it costs?
Yep.
To get a caregiver in your home, 8 hours a day, 4 days a week, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of folks will say, I don't know, a couple grand, like it. And there's this, what you're talking about is so interesting because I think a lot of people who don't understand our industry think that a client may be paying $500 a month or $1,000 a month. And you think, well, why do you need help finding that, right? Mm-hmm. That's most families can kind of scrounge that up. Mm-hmm. But, and you've seen this from 97 to now, there's the increase and just inflationary increase of the cost of care. But on average, what's a family in for usually if they got to take care of their dad? What is that going to come up to?
What's wild is when I started the business, I was placing caregivers in homes for $120 a day. 24 hours.
No way.
Wild.
$120 a day. $97.
A day.
Then 1997.
1997.
That is insane.
Yeah, and get this. Wow. It's like, I don't want to get into the details of that, but the caregivers, they weren't getting paid a lot. I would take a small portion of it because it was, I was a registry, and typically registries would take 10, 15, 20% of the daily pay, right? And so I was responsible for connecting the family members to a caregiver. I would do all the background check, make sure it was a safe referral. It's kind of like Angie's List of caregiving.com.
Almost like a dating app. Yeah. You just set up the family with the caregiver. Right. Yeah.
But what I found out over time as I grew that business and I was wildly successful, no one was paying the personal income tax.
Yeah.
Little problem here in California.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I'd make the referral. The family was good, but there's no workers' comp. So
That's right.
there's no personal income tax, right? The caregiver was claiming his or her taxes, and I was claiming mine because it was a referral fee. So there was this little gap in the marketplace that had some exposure, and I didn't realize that, right? And so imagine accumulating that for 8-10 years, right? Yeah. And the state of California knocking on your door saying, hey, can you explain this, right? Yeah. And so I had no good explanation. And so I decided to wind the business down. And so we transitioned away from that model. It wasn't a sustainable model that we can grow a huge franchise system out of, right? And so that was my downfall, right? However, when we built the business from the ground up, we converted all those independent contractors over to employees. We provided them with a great wage. We provided them with healthcare benefits, 401k, dental plan. And so we just did it the right way. Now, did it cost us more? Yes, it costed us more as an employer. Was the caregiver making a little bit less? Yes, they were making less, right? But we all understood and we explained, hey, this is better for us, long term, right? And I'm proud to say that we still have caregivers on from like the mid-90s on our roster. And it's great, and we adjust. But yeah, can you believe that? $120 a day. So you can literally get away with care being somewhere in the $3,000 range, $3,500 back then.
So now?
Now? Care, part-time care, you're paying upwards of $300 to $500 a day. So if you extrapolate that, you're spending somewhere between $7,500 to $9,000 for part-time care, right? Yeah. And then of course full-time care, you're up in the $15,000 to $22,000 range. Yeah. Full-time care, caregiver. Yeah. Right.
And that's what's so interesting to understand about our industry and why I love your idea of staying with what works. Right. Yeah. It is one client can mean $22,000 a month in revenue. Very different from if you have, a lot of people think that it's like a cleaning company. Maybe what do you charge, like $1,000 a month for, to go clean? It's like, no, this is a lot of hours, a lot of need. If you need help dressing, bathing, walking, grooming, you don't do that once a day.
No, multiple times a day. And so I look at our business as like one of your common staples. It's kind of like in life, like for nourishment, you need eggs, milk.
Yeah.
Like we're kind of basic. It's true. It's something you need, but I want to be the milk. I want to be the eggs. I want to be the common staple that you need in order to sustain a nice, healthy lifestyle, right? I don't know if that was a great analogy, but I just, it's so basic. And every family's going to go through this. Everybody will go through this. And unfortunately, what happens, Marcos, is when families are hit with an unforeseen episode of care, they come home for the holidays, dad's in bad shape, or mom's just been recently diagnosed with Alzheimer's or Parkinson, or you have a stroke. Just in the last 2 weeks, I had a close friend who had a stroke, and it's terrible. He didn't make it, right? In his early 50s. So you're going to see more of these things kind of happen as we continue to age. You're a young buck in your mid 40s.
Yeah, I'll be 49 next month.
What? 49.
49, man.
That's
50
wild.
another year.
50?
I'll be 50. Yeah.
Nifty after 50.
Downhill from there, huh?
No, it's all good.
You know what? I was telling Carolina, my wife, that my 40s have been my favorite decade.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite decade.
Yeah.
Dude, we have a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a favorite. That's a good question. I don't know if I have a favorite. I'm kind of a guy who takes the day as it comes. Yeah. And I appreciate.
So today is your favorite.
Yeah. And you know what? What's cool is I'm always looking forward to, how the next year plays out. Like I'm kind of like, I don't know if that's just how I'm naturally wired, but I'm always looking forward to the next day. Yeah. Because, I can sit back and reflect when it's time to sit back and reflect, but it's funny. I don't, I think it's all good, man. Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted you to talk about is what it's been like to go from you and Chad. And I think your first first hire was Nina? Was that? No. I think
our actual first hire was Mary Ann.
Yeah.
And
does it go from that to now?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even know how many folks.
There's several.
Yeah,
it's we have a
like?
great network.
What's it?
Honestly, I don't think about it, man. I just put my head down and keep working. I honestly don't think about it. I don't spend time thinking about
going
that.
From our first franchise partner in 2012 to now, I think we might have hit about 300 locations now.
Yeah.
Is that? I don't know. Do you? Actually, I think you're. I don't think it's tough as just saying this. Yeah. I really don't think you spend much time thinking about that.
No, I'm always.
It's just how to get better. No matter how many employees or how many locations, just how do we get better? Yeah. It's always what you've said. How do we get better?
Yeah. It's funny because sometimes it's like it can be a good thing and a bad thing. Because my wife tells me, like, do you even have a memory? do you remember it? I'm like, no. What are you talking about?
It's easy to let go of things if
I let go of things so easy.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't know if I ever want to, because I don't know. I mean, the way I grew up, like really, really. We didn't have a lot, right? Mm-hmm. So I was always kind of conditioned to think of like, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? I don't know. I just think that like today I'm wired. I'm in my office back there thinking like, what I got to do to get through today and get through next week. And like, I'm already thinking, Celine and I, we're mapping out Q1 with travel. I'm like, neck deep in it, and I can't wait to like for January 1 to hit because I'm ready to go. So I don't like to reflect too much.
Yeah.
I will, but I've yet to do that.
And the other thing,
I don't. Here's the deal. Because I don't know if it's for me personally. I don't know if it's healthy for me. Because I think that if I do that, I'll kind of take it easy, right? Huh. And I think a lot of this is built, with athletes. I was trained to like say, okay, if you make a mistake, it's next man up. If you make a mistake, it's move to the next play. So I'm always moving to the next play.
If you dwell, I tell my boys all the time when the coach yells at them and they dwell on it, you see their performance just tank.
It has. There's a true impact on how you move forward if you think about too much what's going on in the past. So it's like literally all gas, no brakes every day. Like seriously, all gas, no brakes.
I remember Chad talking about, I always think about this, he said that he was playing with Sam Darnold. Basketball.
Uh-huh.
And he said how Sam he's an NFL guy that grew up here.
Yeah.
That they were at church playing basketball.
Uh-huh.
Sam would throw a ball.
Free throw.
Whatever it was, right? And it would air ball or tank it. And he noticed him like there was no negative feedback.
Yeah.
He would get the ball again and just shoot again. And just shoot again. And it didn't matter.
Yeah.
He had zero negative feedback. I remember him talking about that.
Well, you know what? I think that's important. I think athletes they think like that, right? And if you're going to be
at least successful, if you get anywhere, it's probably how you think, right?
It's the weirdest thing, but like that's what's required because no doubt, like just that analogy, shooting a ball. I'm that guy. I'm gonna shoot the ball if it goes in. You're gonna ask for it
again. Like I'm
always open, Marcos. Give me the ball.
And if you whiff it, if you miss it,
if I whiff it, like I'm gonna make it I'm gonna come down and take the same shot, right?
It's probably a very quintessential entrepreneurial trait.
I think you have to have that because what happens is if you're afraid of failure, if you missed a shot and you let that impact you or you think, okay, what is the team going to think about me if I take another shot? You're not going to take the shot, right? So I don't know. It gets back to what I was talking about earlier is I don't like to sit back and look at, hey, things are awesome, like from 1 employee to 2 to 10, and now we're here. Nope. In fact, I don't even want to think about it. I just want to move to the next one, right? And just do what I can to make sure this next one counts. And whatever we need to do to support this franchise partner, whatever we need to do to support this caregiver, because we're a caregiver-centric organization, it's all about the caregiver. So I just need to focus on making sure that our franchise partners are taking care of the caregivers, because if we do that, everything else falls in place. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, Tafa.
Thank you. This is great.
I think we're at the end. We got the kill gesture. From
the hangman gesture.
So thank you for joining us for another episode of We Are Amada in our new studio. Actually, Jenny Novi broke the studio in.
Really?
But I don't think we had the sign. And we're still editing that episode, and she actually sang for us.
Oh, that's
Jenny Novi, our franchise partner, the most amazing entrepreneur, friggin' incredible in Chicago.
And you think she's going to think about mistakes?
No, Jenny Novi, man.
She's all gas.
She is all gas.
Yeah. That's you have to have that mentality.
Yeah.
If you're gonna build something that's sustainable and that's worth anything, you got to go all in. Yeah.
All right.
So anyhow, that's a lesson.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Tafa, thank you.
It's all good, man.
See you guys in the next episode.
All right.